and welcome to episode 3 of the Maryland Living Podcast.
Episode 3, I can't believe it.
I know, I can't believe it either. And actually, we're a man down today.
I know, yeah. Our buddy Pete is in Florida.
I know. I hope he's enjoying the weather because it's 28 degrees
It
where
was
we are
16
right
degrees when I woke up this morning, so it's got to be warmer in Florida. And we certainly miss our buddy Pete, but he and his wife are down in Florida enjoying Christmas with his family. And he will be back with us podcast after next.
Okay,
so
good.
after the first of the year.
Yeah, we have another recording this week and then he'll be back. So, and this is our last episode before Christmas, too.
Yeah, we're right on top of Christmas. We're recording this episode on December 23rd, 2024. So Christmas is literally the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is exciting. And one of the things, I call it a Christmas miracle, I guess, is just the amount of positive feedback and attention that we've been getting with this podcast.
That is a Christmas miracle.
Dude, it is definitely a Christmas miracle.
No, in all seriousness, it's exciting to get all the positive feedback that we'd been hearing.
It is exciting, and thank you to everyone that has subscribed and is liking it and listening to it. But in particular, we'd like to give some thanks to a couple of behind-the-scenes people, our producers, Brianna, Diaz, and Paige Hoyer. Without them, we would not be doing this at all.
That is so true because you and I are a lot of things and technologically savvy. It's just not one of them.
It's not one of them. You're absolutely right.
You know what's one thing, I was actually thinking about it the other day, that I really love about living in Maryland is there's so many fun things to do that when I was growing up in Maine, there was just nothing to do. And I just feel like you can never not have something to do here.
Yeah, but I also think that those of us who have lived here for most or all of our lives, or for really any amount of time, we kind of take those things for granted.
Yeah.
It's like the people that live in New York City. They've lived there their whole lives, and they've never been to the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right. Because actually, I'll mention things to people like, "Oh, I just went and did this," and they'll be like, "Oh, I've never heard of that." I'm like, "You grew up here."
Exactly. Like there are people out west who, have a goal of going to the Smithsonian Institute.
Yeah.
And you and I can get in our car and be there in 40 minutes.
Well, have you been?
Not in years.
I haven't been in a long time either.
Right, exactly.
So since we've recorded our last podcast, I had talked about ice at the Gaylord.
Yeah, how was it?
And so I did go to the Gaylord, but I didn't go to ice. My husband had a work gala there, I guess last weekend now. I cannot get over how beautiful that place is. I had never been inside before.
And this is at National Harbor,
It's at National Harbor. Yeah. The gala was in the Maryland room, which was just huge and gorgeous. And then we walked out into the lobby, and it was just so well decorated for Christmas.
Nice.
And so many different people there for different things. It was just cool because, ice is going on. There was a couple of galas for the holidays going on. Mm-hmm. So that was super fun. And then another fun thing that we did, which had not been on my Christmas to-do list, but we went to Willow Oak Farm, which is on Telegraph Road in Severn.
Oh, right over there.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Not far away.
Yeah.
And we just had the best time. There were a walking path with lights, and then at the end of the walking path was Santa.
Okay.
It was a little cold, but they had fire pits. Oh, and free hot chocolate.
Nice.
Which the kids loved, so that was really fun. And then we were leaving, and I probably saw the worst incident of road rage I think I had ever seen. It was
for real?
So yeah, it was crazy. So we pull out onto Telegraph Road, and someone passes us on the shoulder, which is crazy enough. But they were going so fast, and then a few minutes or a few seconds later, someone else passed us on the shoulder, and then it became clear that they were chasing that person.
Oh, wow.
And I was thinking, oh, this is just some kids, but then everyone, the first car slammed on their brakes, and then the second car slammed on their brakes, and then the first car started backing up at a high rate of speed.
Oh, to hit the car behind.
To hit the car.
Well, that's not good.
I know. It was really bad, actually. And then I was like, wait, are they joking around? And then I saw the person in the passenger seat leaning out the window, and they had some choice words for the person behind them. And then I realized, oh, this is not a good situation. I have my whole family in the car.
Yeah, that's not good. So someone obviously pissed off someone.
Yeah.
And then gave chase.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I didn't stick around to see what happened. I kind of pulled over into the ditch and up onto this other road. And then, of course, because I'm nosy, I had to circle back and see what was going on. They were gone, but...
So you risked your life possibly just to see what was going on?
I waited a few minutes.
Okay,
but
that's cool.
for things to calm down. But.
I had speaking of adventures on the roadway, it wasn't a road rage situation, but actually this morning on my way to the studio.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had like or witnessed a driving karma?
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as no one gets hurt, I like those.
Yeah, so there was this jackass in a pickup truck driving way too fast down the interstate. And I drive way too fast, admittedly. But this guy, he was flying and he was cutting between cars and really driving dangerously.
Okay.
And instantly you see that kind of driver and it pisses you off,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of watching him, keeping an eye on him, and he went over to the far right lane, then moved back to the left fast lane where I was. And then I guess he saw that his exit was coming up.
Okay.
And it didn't look like he even looked. He just darted across 3 interstate lanes of traffic to get off at the exit, and another pickup truck going probably lower than the speed limit kind of got right in front of him.
I love
and the guy had to hit his brakes, and all was right with the world again. And I just kind of laughed.
Yeah, I love it. You know, that's the Christmas spirit, really.
What, road rage and road karma?
Road karma.
Yeah,
it really
absolutely.
is.
The reason for the season.
It really, really is.
Absolutely.
Well, we have some Maryland news, some updated news on the Luigi Mangione case.
Yeah, for those of you who may not be aware, we discussed Mr. Mangione briefly in our last podcast. He's the young man who has been arrested and accused with murdering Brian Thompson in New York. Mr. Thompson was the CEO of United Healthcare.
So he came before the court this morning and pled guilty. Pled not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty,
okay.
Yeah. 11 charges I saw.
Well,
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Megan, I think they charged him somehow under some terrorist statute or something.
I saw that. I don't quite understand.
I don't either, and I wonder if that's something like specific to New York City as a result of 9/11 maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that could be. So his attorney went before the judge, of course, with him and said that she was, according to the New York Times, was concerned about her client's right to a fair trial. She says his rights are being violated. She says he's a young man and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball. So I'm interested to kind of see where this ends up.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, innocent until, yeah.
Yeah, I think because he's from Maryland and we have so many, it's such a small state.
It really is. A lot of people live here. Because we all live so close together, everyone kind of knows someone.
And this morning, I know you were reading a Facebook post from someone who just the connections to this family and just all the people that they knew. And people we know that have connections with the family are just continuing to say the same thing about what a great family they are. And it's just sad. It's sad for everyone involved.
It is sad. And, you know, as we mentioned briefly in the last episode, the family of the accused has always had a reputation of being a stellar family.
Yeah.
We were at my daughter's apartment on Saturday for a Christmas gathering and to watch the Ravens stomp all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And because this accused murderer is from Baltimore and is the same age as my kids and their friends, there were many, many points of familiarity.
Really?
And as I think I said last time, this one just hits different.
Yeah, it really does.
It's a shame.
And obviously, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume there's some mental illness or mental health issues going on. And I know I had read somewhere that his mother had filed a missing persons report a few months before this incident. So, it's just sad. It's sad for everyone.
It is sad. And from what, and I'm hearing the same thing, that this guy just kind of went off the radar.
Yeah.
And this young man who up until recently just was considered to be very smart and personable and just a really good guy.
Yeah.
He disappeared and looks like he lost it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, not to drastically change the subject.
Well, let's drastically change the subject.
Let's do that.
Let's
do that. So this weekend, we went caroling in my neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun, actually. I don't think I've ever been caroling before.
Caroling can be fun.
But in Maryland, after fifth, I have a fifth grader. So after fifth, they go to middle school. So we have a lot of fifth grade promotion activities going on, and one of them was for all the fifth graders to go caroling. And I wasn't truthfully looking forward to it because, it was like 19 degrees last night.
It's been so cold.
So cold.
Yep.
So, but we went and we literally had the best time. We got hot chocolate. We walked around. But the funny part was, as we're going from door to door in the neighborhood, while the fifth graders are aggressively knocking on doors, scaring these poor unsuspecting people were pulling up in their cars and asking if we were real carolers.
So what were you guys singing?
We were singing.
Were you singing Christmas songs?
We were singing Christmas songs.
Is there anything else that you need to be a real caroler?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe like the long red robes.
Yeah, were you dressed
with a
like
candle.
British,
No.
holding a candle?
None of that, but no, it was really funny though. I think people really enjoyed it.
It's cool. We have carolers on our street every year. In fact, they're either coming tonight or tomorrow night, and it's kind of a thing. The neighbors expect them to show up.
Okay.
And there's the people in the homes answer the door and give them hot chocolate or some sort of treat.
Yeah, so the parents,
really cool.
The parents were standing out by the curb and the kids were running up to the door. And again, as I mentioned, aggressively knocking. But at one house, they came back eating something.
What?
And it kind of freaked us all out.
Well,
We're like, what are you eating? And they were like, well, they gave us some reindeer poop. And they were munching along.
Yum, yum.
Yeah, so I think
cool.
they had a good time, and it was good for them too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then we came back last night and watched some Christmas movies. And I wanted to ask you, did you have like a favorite show or a favorite Christmas movie that you really liked, like when you were a kid?
When I was a little kid, I loved like those old, I think they called animatronics or something like that. It was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I honestly still kind of like that one. It kind of tells the whole story of Kris Kringle.
Okay.
And how he came to be Santa Claus.
Oh.
And also, it surprisingly does a bit of a deep dive into Kris Kringle's love life.
No way.
Yeah. I remember watching that when I was a little kid with my parents and my younger sister and younger brother. And my mother was pregnant with my youngest sister.
Okay.
And back then, they didn't know if they were having a boy or a girl.
Right.
They picked a boy's name. I don't remember what it was. They couldn't decide on a girl's name.
Okay.
And we're all watching this Santa Claus is Coming to Town show together as a family. And we meet in the TV show this school teacher who becomes Kris Kringle's love interest.
Oh.
An eventual wife.
Okay.
You may know her as Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
But did you know that her real name is Jessica?
No, I did not know
and
that.
And we're watching that, and my father goes, "That's it. The baby, if it's a girl, will be named Jessica."
Okay.
So that's why I have a younger sister named Jessica.
And does your sister Jessica know this?
She does know this.
Okay.
Yeah, and she bears no resemblance to Mrs. Claus. Just,
okay. Just putting that out
record.
there. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, what about you?
So when I was a kid, I think my favorite was the Peanuts, with Snoopy. I like that one a lot. Is it? Okay.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
I don't know. I think just the nostalgia. Really.
Yeah. It's very low key.
It is.
And the music, like I can hear that music if I'm on a beach in the middle of July.
Oh my gosh.
And suddenly it feels like Christmas
Absolutely.
for a minute. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I think it's, if not the only, it's one of the rare ones that actually mentions like the traditional real meaning of Christmas.
Really?
Which is
I didn't
cool.
know
Well, there's
that
scene where they're getting ready to do the Christmas play. And Linus gets up there under the spotlight and he reads that passage from Luke when the angels come and announce the birth of Jesus to the shepherds.
Okay.
And interestingly, it is the only time in all of Peanut history where Linus, because he always carries that security blanket, he drops his security blanket during his recitation of that passage from Luke, specifically when he says, "Fear not."
No.
And that's just kind of cool to me, I think.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you shared that. What a cool story. I didn't realize that at all. I tried to get my kids to watch that, and it's just too slow for them.
It is slow for kids. And I'm not going to, it wasn't my favorite when I was
really?
little. Yeah.
They're so into Home Alone 2. I can't watch that anymore.
Yeah. And plus just like those parents would never win Parent of the Year awards.
No, I can't even imagine. You know what my favorite Christmas movie is? And I know you're not a Will Ferrell fan, but I absolutely love Elf.
So Elf's a really good movie. And Will Ferrell, if you're listening, no offense. But Will Ferrell, it's a great movie, but Will Ferrell he's the same character in all of his movies.
Yeah, that's what you say. And you're not wrong. I just think he's so funny.
No, it's a great movie. It's festive. It's funny. I don't think it's as funny as National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. That one is hilarious with Cousin Eddie and I can't remember the dog's name that yaks under the dining room table.
And the cat wrapped up.
The cat wrapped up in the box and the squirrel jumping out of the Christmas tree. That movie still makes me laugh out loud.
So that movie Elf came out when my sister was still in high school. And my dad loves that movie. And we all do. And we're just like one of those families, and I'm sure a lot of people are, that just constantly quote lines from movies. And so my sister, of course, being in high school, gets a lot of calls from her friends on the house phone. And so every time my father answers the phone, he would say, "Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?"
Nice. I like that.
So yeah, that's one of our favorites. So
I think my favorite movie as like a grown-ass man is It's a Wonderful Life, that old one with Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a classic.
We watched my son watched Scrooge last night, which was the newest version.
Okay.
Which he was really into. He barely moved the whole movie, and that's when you know it's good.
You know it's good. It's such a classic story, and they've made so many versions and remakes of it. It's like a timeless story. It's really good.
I'm going to watch It's a Wonderful Life tonight.
I think we will too. We typically watch It's a Wonderful Life while Valerie and I are doing some last-minute wrapping and drinking a few Irish coffees, and that's a little bit of our tradition.
So what's your plan over the next few days for Christmas?
Well, the aforementioned Irish coffees and some last-minute wrapping. We have a tradition on Christmas Eve that we'll order Chinese food and bring it home, and then we'll go to late church.
Oh, that sounds good.
You come back, the kids will hang their stockings.
Oh, nice.
And what's great now, Megan, is now that my kids are adults, they're not trying to wake us up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like they won't wake. I get up at 7 o'clock and the first kid may not come down until 11.
Really?
It's amazing.
Oh, that is kind of nice.
Yeah, just wait. It's
we'll be up at 5 a.m., I'm sure, on Christmas morning. But that just goes with the territory. It is, cool. And it's fun. They're so excited. Yeah. So, well, we just want to take a moment to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're excited for the new year. On Friday, we're going to be recording our next podcast, and I want to hear what your New Year's resolution is.
I want to hear what yours are.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Do you make New Year's resolutions every year?
I like maybe a New Year's resolution, kind of something to shoot for.
Okay.
One of my resolutions is to make sure that my co-podcaster turns off the sounds on her MacBook. But that's all good.
You know what? I'll add that to my list.
Yeah, put that on your resolution list. And
as I mentioned, I'm not tech savvy. We talked about this.
Yeah, and our producers aren't in the room.
No,
so
they
I'll
left.
give you a pass on that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Do you wanna catch a ride downtown? If you said no, it'd be a pity, yeah.